Me, Abdul Salam Hamdaway, this is a very exclusive period that I want to have a discussion on an issue that is so pertinent to the education of the country. And without much ado, I'll premise this conversation on the purpose of education from the perspective of Malcolm Forbes, who once said that education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an open one. And without much ado, I'd like to have my panel discuss, and introduce themselves before we delve into the matters and unpack the real issues of TAMASCO at 75. So I'll go to Studio B and welcome my honored guests from the right.
Thank you. Good morning to you and good morning to your cherished listeners. My name is Brian Mahama, Assistant Headmaster Academic and the Chairman of the Publicity Committee of TAMASCO at 75.
If you can take it again, please.
My name is Brian Mahama, Assistant Headmaster Academic and the Chairman of Publicity Committee of TAMASCO at 75.
Great. So, what about you?
Yes, I'm Papi Abdul Hakim Bokare, Principal Housemaster in Nkrumah House, Master in charge of Cadet, and the Security Committee Chairperson for TAMASCO at 75 celebration.
This is a very powerful, undertaking, I know. That's why your good selves have been nominated to represent the school in this August occasion. So, before I say anything about TAMASCO, we heard about the celebration of the school, that is the Northern Lights. It has kick-started in earnest this morning with pomp and pageantry, a kind of a well-floated, group that took up the principal streets of Tamale. The float was massive from what I gathered. I would just like to say, why is this? Why is this the case that you need to celebrate at this juncture?
Thank you. We are celebrating an institution that has records, that has a story to tell. Excellence in secondary education for 75 years. Like you rightly mentioned, yesterday we started with a Muslim prayer immediately after Juma prayers in our big mosques. And this morning we're on the streets of Tamale to tell the story of TAMASCO and to prepare ourselves physically fit for the coming days of the anniversary launch, and also to send a clear message to all people in Tamale and beyond that TAMASCO is 75 and TAMASCO is celebrating the legacy of the Northern Light. And that is exactly what we did this morning. And in the coming days, we are rolling up a number of activities to mark this launch of 70 years of excellence in secondary education.
You mean 75th year?
Yes, 75th year.
Right.
Good.
Right. So that's great to hear. So in a nutshell, it's just to celebrate. Let me say this. Why at this juncture, TAMASCO at 75, is this clamor for a major, if you like, a major broadcast or a major propagation of the ideas of TAMASCO? What does TAMASCO represent in your view?
TAMASCO represents excellence in secondary education, an institution that was established 75 years, groomed, nurtured young, productive people to be part of the development of northern Ghana and Ghana as a whole, and even beyond in international boundaries. This is exactly what TAMASCO represents. It represents the light of the north in terms of secondary education. That is what TAMASCO represents.
Right. So, Mr. Hakim, I'll come to you. So, if you can just give us a brief history of TAMASCO? Mr. Hakim?
Yes, Tamale Senior High School started in February 1951 with some 20 boys. It became the premier institution in the whole of the Northern Territories at the time. In the colonial era, we had the Northern Territories, not now what we call Upper East, Upper West, Northern Region, Brown Hartford, and Co. So it became from Brown Hartford through Northern Region, Northeast, Savannah regions, Upper West, Upper East. Tamale Senior High School was the first secondary school to be established. At the time that it was established, we had a lot of other institutions up to middle school. They were you could attend school up to middle to what you call standard 7. Then you were then supposed to go to the south to attend secondary education. So what normally happened was that 5 students were normally selected from the Northern Territories to attend Achimota. In the year 1951, 20 boys qualified to attend Achimota School. By the time, we had also reached the crescendo of the struggle for independence. Ghana was at the verge of gaining independence, and so the fight for a secondary school to be established in the northern sector was also high. Why was it high? We also needed to put our northern folks in line so that when we attain independence, once the black man was to manage his own affairs, the northerner was also supposed to be able to manage his or her own affairs. Unfortunately, at the time, all our highly educated scholars were southerners, and the northerners were rather used in the gold mines and the farmlands because they were very tough and strong, so were rather used for liberal works. So it was an act of joy when in 1951 Mr. J.E. Heffron of blessed memory was posted to Northern Territories to start a secondary school on the premises of what we called the Government Boys Boarding School.
Okay, not to cut you short, J.E. Heffron, was he Ghanaian?
No, he was a white man.
Okay.
He was a white man, right. And he taught all subjects.
Was it part of the British?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So
because as part of the history, I recall that the colonial authorities that mooted that idea.
Exactly.
Okay. So he was part of that administration.
Exactly.
And he was here on their behalf.
On their behalf all to right. teach, and so of the 20 boys who were preparing to attend Achimota, really going to Achimota, they were used to open Tamale Senior High School. In fact, the joy in it called for a holiday. There was a holiday in the whole of the northern sector to celebrate the creation of a secondary school in the Northern Territories, and it was called the government. It was now called Government Secondary School, later to be known as Gbewaa Secondary School.
Okay.
And now Tamale Senior High School.
Now you've done justice to a brief history. I'll come back to Mr. Brima. Mr. Brima, yes. What is the theme? In every celebration there will be a theme that's the anniversary is premised on, and that will roll out the agenda, the nitty-gritty, some will say, of the whole celebration.
Yes, so the theme for this year's 75th anniversary celebration of Tamale Secondary School is Excellence in Secondary Education, Celebrating the Northern Life and Inspiring Future Generation. That is the theme. This theme was carefully thought through and selected to reflect the philosophical foundation on which TAMASCO was laid, and the achievement of TAMASCO in the past 75 years in providing quality secondary education, preparing young people to take their rightful position in development of the North and Ghana as a whole.
So where you landed as for Ghana, for the development of Ghana as a whole, so would you say that TAMASCO as an institute or as an institution has lived up to this billing, and what are some of the achievements by way of human resources, whatever achievements you can mention association with TAMASCO, if you can?
Yes, countless achievement when it comes to Tamale Secondary School being the premier secondary school to be established in the entire Northern Territory. Of course, TAMASCO has come a long way with a lot of achievement to talk about. Talking about the fact that TAMASCO started with a very broad curriculum. A broad curriculum in order to provide whatever is needed to develop the human resource for northern sector by itself was an achievement. And I can say that TAMASCO was the only secondary school in the entire country, even though at the time TAMASCO was established, some schools were far older, even celebrated their 75 years at the time TAMASCO was established.
You mean the schools in the south?
Yes, as we are celebrating 75 years, some schools this year are celebrating 150 years. That tells the gap between the northern sector and the southern sector. And that was exactly the reason for establishing TAMASCO, to bridge that education gap.
Right.
So by itself was an achievement. Since the establishment of TAMASCO has turned out a number of human resources. In every aspect of our national economic life, you can't count them. Go to every sector, at the executive level, at the judiciary level, at the legislative level. We have a lot of old Tamascans that are occupying very enviable positions and are giving back to Mother Ghana. If you go to Parliament,
can you mention? Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure you were drawing down. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, in fact, let me just apologize because I will not be able to mention everybody, but just for a few. If you go to Parliament, I can confidently say, as we sit in this Parliament today, TAMASCO owns Ghana Parliament. Why am I saying this? The Speaker of Parliament is a proud old Tamascan. And we have up to 11 parliamentarians in current parliament that all pass through TAMASCO. And I wonder in Ghana, currently as we speak, if there is any secondary school that has up to that number in parliament at the same time. If you go to the presidency, presidential staffers, we have so many of them. The special advisor to the president, Honorable Joyce Gbewaa Mutari, is a proud old Tamascan. The Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, Lawyer Haruna Idrisu Honorable, and the MP for Tamale South, the Minister of Interior, the former Minister of Finance, the first Northerner to rise to the position of Minister of Finance is Honorable Anta, an old Tamascan. Honorable Hassan Tampuli. We have the MD for Ghana Commercial Bank, Alhaji Farhan Al Hassan.
Chairman.
Yes, we have the board chairman of Ghana Commercial Bank, Josia Alabi, who once upon a time was even the regional minister of Northern Region. Also an old Tamascan, Alhaji Hudi Yaya, old Tamascan. The former vice president of Ghana, Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia, an old Tamascan. So many. The former vice president, Alhaji Ali Mama, an old Tamascan of blessed memory. And it goes on and on. The products are all over. Even chambers of international service, an old Tamascan. There are so many of them across the spectrum of Ghana and even international service. So when it comes to...
So before you proceed, I realize you've mentioned astute individuals who have come out from TAMASCO with their heads high and their chest out. But your rivals at the other side will say, we have a president, we control the parliament. You are actually touting the same thing. Have you had a president coming from the school before?
It is not just having a president, but it is about the historical facts. And let me lay it clear that TAMASCO is not in competition with any school in northern Ghana at all. Not even GHANASCO. TAMASCO is not in competition of GHANASCO. Let me give you an analogy. TAMASCO is like a seed that was planted, that grew to become a very big tree. And the fruits and seeds of this big tree has been replanted to become trees all over in northern Ghana. And I can say that TAMASCO came out of TAMASCO. And I can tell you,
Wow.
when TAMASCO was established in 1951, 10 years after that, in 1960, there was the need to open the current GhanaSCO. Let me give you the history of GhanaSCO, how it came about. Students were selected from TAMASCO to go and start what they call Ghana College. That was how GhanaSCO started. It started as Ghana College. And when they needed a substantive headmaster to run the school, they came to TAMASCO again and picked Mr. Kenneth Luther Pesa. He was the first headmaster of GhanaSCO. So you see, everything was picked. Like I said, the analogy, TAMASCO is like a tree, and the seed of the tree was used to plant GhanaSCO. You see, and it is very clear that anybody who goes to GhanaSCans, Oga, I'm sure you are listening to me. A lot of you, because you didn't get admission to come to TAMASCO, and the president himself in their 65th anniversary clearly declared that he went to GhanaSCO because he was denied admission in TAMASCO. Yeah, so...
Okay, so you see, as a self-confession.
Exactly, it's a self-confession.
They are actually an offshoot.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
GhanaSCO is an offshoot.
Yes. And
This, I'm sure by the close of this show, we may have calls that may come to debunk.
Let them come.
Okay, let me come to Mr. Hakim. Mr. Hakim.
Yes, sir.
What are some of these activities that you've set out as activities that should mark this great anniversary?
Yes, thank you once again. As earlier mentioned by my boss, Mr. Brima, yesterday we started with the Muslim prayer, later the Juma prayers. This morning too, inshallah, we have just finished with the successful completed the float, the street carnival. We went through some principal streets of Tamale, announcing the celebration of the launch of our 75 years of existence. We just ended that successfully. At 2 p.m. at the Keneroja Feli Assembly Hall, we're going to have some indoor games, playing cards, Ludo, draft, Owari, and the likes. Then on Wednesday, they said a healthy body leaves the clean environment. So we'll go and do some cleanup exercise. And then we are trying to foster community.
So, not cutting it short, right from today, after the playing of cards,
The cards.
there won't be any activity till Wednesday.
No, until Wednesday.
Okay.
We'll have another major activity. So on Monday we'll be in class to attend lessons, and Tuesday, Wednesday we would again go into Chogu to have a cleanup exercise to foster school community relationship. Then on Friday we're going to have the Young Ota Connect, where we consciously create an enabling environment for older Ota generation to have an interaction with the younger Ota generation. This is to ensure, one, that history is passed down well, continuity of Ota activities is assured, and then to also create equal opportunity for the young ones who are yet struggling to get their feet, because it's going to be a certain deliberate ground for us to share ideas, meet, connect, a renewal kind of thing, and then to re-emphasize the Tamascan in us and make sure that we create awareness and open opportunities for those who are interested. Then in the evening of that same day, Friday, we are going to have staff of the Tamale Senior High School lock horns with students on the football field. We're going to have a football match between staff and then students. The way you are nodding, don't worry, we have never lost to the students. The best the students have ever done, that was in 2 years ago when they drew with the staff. That was the first time that we had a draw. The teachers have always beaten the students seriously.
But is that not a mismatch?
How is it?
Students and masters.
Yes, you may look at it as though
when the students
gap.
are afraid to
no.
score against them.
They are always eager to score as well. See, once you are a teacher, you teach them in class, you also teach them on the field.
Why don't you call your rivals to test your,
we finish them.
Rivals, I know maybe you are referring to GhanaSCO as our rivals, but for me, GhanaSCO is not our rivals.
Okay.
Like I told you, we are not competing with anybody.
Okay.
Let me tell you a story. Recently, the Honda football championship, a maiden championship. We're just sitting. We're even on holidays. You know, as a single travel, we're on holidays. Then TAMASCO called us to come and play them. We told them, TAMASCO, you go and play your ball and leave us alone. They said, no, we are afraid. We said, okay, we are on holidays. So we just called the Burga around to come and meet you in the fall. At Aliu Mama Stadium, what didn't happen? In the first half, we gave them 3-0, 3 good nil. They didn't even score a single goal. Then our Burga asked us, should we continue? I said, add them another one. They gave them another one, and we ended the match with 4 good goals. They couldn't score even a single one. So TAMASCO doesn't come at all when TAMASCO is mentioned. It's only Moff, Oga.
Right.
So Saturday,
Okay.
Saturday we'll have the launch of the 75th anniversary, and as you know, the Honorable Education Minister, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, MP for Tamale South constituency, will be in attendance as special guest of honor. It will be at 9 o'clock a.m. at the school's Parsons Square. The square just around the old assembly, which we now call the Oredu Assembly Hall. We'll have the launch there.
Okay, so you've taken the winner out of my seal. Delve into the dignitaries.
Then I'm coming on Sunday. We'll then have a Christian interdenominator prayer to thank God for a successful completion. We started with the Muslim prayer,
okay,
and then we would also pray on Sunday.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So yes. Let me come to Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian, these dignitaries that are coming.
Yes.
So are they all old Tamascans that you decide to play area matches, or let's say home matches, or you've sampled really those who will be able to kind of
so
make up?
If you follow the history of TAMASCO, you would realize and appreciate that TAMASCO is not just a secondary school for Tamascans, but it is an institution that the entire northern sector of Ghana is proud of. And so this celebration is not just for headmaster of TAMASCO and students and staff of TAMASCO, but it is a celebration of everyone in northern Ghana. So we are going to see people gracing this occasion from all walks of life. And for old students, it is their home. So definitely everyone will come, but those who are not old students and matter so far as education is concerned will equally also grace this occasion. The special guest of honor is Honorable Haruna Idrisu, MP for Tamale South and Minister of Education. The chairperson for this launch is our landlord, His Royal Highness Sanana Ambassador Abdullahi will be the chairperson.
Himself an old student?
Not an old student,
okay,
but
okay.
Our landlord, because TAMASCO is
right.
just closer to his palace, so he would
right.
be the.
He taught in the school, so
he's an associate old. If you look at our constitution as old students association, if you are a teacher, if you have taught in TAMASCO, you are qualified to be part of OTA.
Okay.
So by that extension, he can be part of OTA because he has taught in TAMASCO before. And we have Yap Chona will also be present.
Okay.
Lamashana will also be present, and a whole lot of chiefs will be gracing the occasion.
So before you continue, TAMASCO was once known as Gbewaa Secondary School.
Yes.
And it's I guess by the name that the King of Dagon is the owner of the school.
Yeah.
That's why you are called Lions, if I'm right, correct me.
Yeah.
So will he be sending a representative, or himself will be coming?
Yeah, so certainly the Gbewaa Palace will be represented, but in a full scale. This is just a launch, and we are not expecting to see the whole overlord of Dagbang coming for the launch, he would definitely will have to send people to do the launch. But for the climax is all out. We are going to have all dignitaries, both national and international, that will be grazing somewhere in December this year. So certainly all those that matter would have a hand in the celebration of 75th anniversary of TAMASCO. Like I told you, this is not just a celebration of a school, but it's a celebration of a milestone of achievement in the northern sector. We are not just linking TAMASCO to a narrow scope, but we are looking at it from a national perspective, the role TAMASCO has played in 75 years to date.
Good. So I know parents are invited as part of the dignitaries.
Yeah, sure.
Key stakeholders are invited.
Yeah.
Mr. Hakim,
Yes, sir.
what message do you think should be directed to the key stakeholders at this juncture? Because they are supposed to be, active participants, not spectators.
Yeah, so as you can clearly see, especially during today's float, all stakeholders have really shown interest in our activities. And we want to believe that they will continue to support us. Because how far TAMASCO has come is because of the collaborative efforts among all these stakeholders that we're talking about. These, especially notable among them, is government. Government has done so well for the school. OTA has done so well for the school. Why do I say so? If you look at the expansion of school infrastructure, that is making it possible for more and more young people to get secondary education in the north. It's awesome. And we salute all our stakeholder parents. You have supported the school through thick and thin, through the PTA. We hope that this time around you are not going to let the school down. We expect PTA to come full out to support the 75th anniversary. Our students, the students today showed us showed a great turnout during the float, and we hope that when it comes to the launch day, the students will also go on to play their exemplary lifestyles. The discipline that is in them will come to bear on the day of the launch. Our staff.
So before I proceed, something comes to mind.
Yes.
The TAMASCO cadets.
Yes.
I'm told it's one of the...
I'm coming there.
You are coming there?
Yes.
Go.
So if you look at the security services, they have a lot of interest in TAMASCO, largely because of the cadet. And so you see that during the main event, you see a lot of the heads of security services coming on board. So it is a total, TAMASCO is holistic. It's holistic. And once you mention the cadet, first to be established in the whole of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, outside of South Africa. South Africa was at the time had the apartheid. They had some young people. They apart from that group, in the whole of the Saharan African region, it is Tamale Senior High School cadet that leads. That is the oldest. And so that is why if you look at every celebration of ours, the cadet play a central role in each of our anniversaries, and this one is not going to be different. They are going to come out there in their numbers to play this role. And let me take 1 minute to say something. The establishment of the cadet was in line with the vision and mission of Tamale Senior High School at the time of its establishment. The school was established on a very broad scope. It didn't start on a narrow scope. So at the time that Tamale Senior High School started, it started with all the programs of the secondary school. It was the only one that they end in line with the vision and mission of the school. In order to have holistic training for young boys and girls, there needed to be a leadership training program that would position them well for future leadership roles, and that came in handy as the establishment of the cadet corps. And I can tell you when it started, in fact, our MP VHM Al Hassan, when the TAMASCO was celebrating the Silver Jubilee, had the rare opportunity of forming a guard of honor, and the General Harding, the then representative of the British Queen in the Ghana, visited the school, and sorry, they had it at the old airport. So the guard of honor was held at the old airport, and he was the one the honor was meant for. So if we look at the position of Tamale Senior High School, we have produced 2 CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, already for Ghana. The former Northern Command boss, General what's the name?
So the name is not coming.
The name is not.
It will come later.
It will come.
So the former Northern Command, what?
The general.
The general.
The general. That's
before the present one, right?
No, this is the second one that is
so
in there.
We'll check
the name out there. Get the name do as we go on. Then
yeah.
the immediate past Chief of Naval Staff is also one big old Tamascan. Colonels in the army. In fact, let me just say that if you can last during the 70th anniversary celebration of the cadets, you see that they also formed the former naval chief of staff was the one who Rear Admiral Isa Adam Yakubu. He garnered all his military men. They came together and came and gave a befitting face to our cadet armory, gave us uniform from head to toe, and then also gave us a cadet band, and of course they added us lunch for for cadets.
Right.
So of course what I'm trying to say is, so the cadet who has on its own positioned a lot of old Tamascans well, and so even as we speak now, in the hem of Ghana's military, TAMASCO is neck deep there, and our handwriting is so clearly printed there. So we're not joking in any field: politics, administration, human resource administration, education. In fact, let's just look at the heads of institutions within Tamale here. If we talk of secondary school heads, old Tamascans are leading the lot. Talk of heads of various institutions, regional directors, district directors, what have you. TAMASCO is neck deep. Then now coming home, I can tell you that a chunk of the teachers in Tamale Senior High School now are even old what? Tamascans. In your studio this morning, the two of us are old Tamascans.
So before you get on the issue of the cadets,
yes,
soldiers have their own, issue, which is the discipline.
Yes.
And I know the current issue that is of significance, and the thorny issue amongst our senior high schools, the issue of discipline among
Yes.
the children. In fact, we had disturbing videos about students using classes on one another, and some going to the extent of beating their teachers in other schools. So would you say that this kind of discipline or this training that is coming out from the cadets, that has had this long-standing, grades on training, on discipline, would you say that it has influenced on the students and then made them
Greatly.
disciplined? Yeah.
Great influence. Now, if we look at it again, let me again come back. I told you something, that the cadet was established to give leadership opportunity. So the cadet is actually a leadership training platform. Now, if you look at this morning, the flow that we just concluded on, let's look at the role of the cadets in it. One, the cadets were out there to remind their colleagues that it was time for the program. They went around and then also helped us to what? Gather the children in good time. Whilst we were on the streets, the police alone couldn't have done it. The cadets were out there fully. You saw how they supported the police to control the crowd. So again, when it comes to, sometimes we use the cadets in ways of curbing indiscipline sometimes. Maybe if you want to take up some surprise soup, not all the time though, the cadets come in handy. So in some institutions, sorry to say, there have been clash between cadets and prefects. The problem here is that when the cadet is coming out, we expect them to come out strong, and sometimes the people they are coming out with on are prefects. That's so when you want to use the cadet, you have to position the prefects too in such a way that they and the cadet align well. If not, you are going to have what? Problems. These are two different, they are the same though, But when I say the leadership training given to the prefects, orientation given to the prefects, and orientation given to the cadets are not exactly what? The same. However, in order to work well, you need to be able to coexist. That is where we as TAMASCans are able to do so well. Okay. We have, in fact, we have gone ahead. Right. Let me use your studio now to also say something. Please, we in TAMASCO do not use cadets to chase students to prep or police children at prep. In the case, they are also students. You cannot send people to prep. Once you go back, you are standing and guiding them. Then they finish, you guide them to go and sleep, and you also sleep. Then at the end of the day, the students will pass and the cadets will what? Fail. But I'm happy to inform you. I think you will come for during the launch, the main celebration. There will be speech and what? Prize. And each of our speech and prize, you see our cadets wear uniform and go and pick academic excellence awards. It tells you that the cadet or cadetting does not prevent somebody from what? Studying. And for want of better expression, it is not a place for lousy or stupid individuals in the school who have no use of their time. It is a very serious place that molds character and instills discipline. When you are disciplined, what do we even call discipline? Discipline just means that to be able to tell wrong from what? Right. Know when to do right thing and what and not, and then know how to apportion your what? Your time. Okay. When it is time for this, you are there. That is what we call what? Discipline.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Brahma.
Yes.
So, I've seen schools celebrate their anniversaries. What do you think will be the reason for the lunch? If it's a grand celebration, we all know. But why don't you just do it at once and you have to lunch it before? Can you throw some light on why the lunch at this stage?
Yes, it's important that every event that is yet to come, a very good event must show its good shadow. So the lunch is just like a shadow of the climax itself. And to create awareness, to let all stakeholders and those who be part of the celebration of the 75th anniversary wake up and be part of the preparation leading to the climax itself. Like you are saying, because the climax is coming with a whole lot of other educative activities, we have to start with a physical fitness, and that's why we are on the street today, just to prepare our mind and prepare our body for the activities that are yet to come. And also to let the general public know that this year TAMASCO is 75 years, and so there will be a number of activities that we inquire and we want everyone to be part. I'm sure today, this morning, some people didn't know that TAMASCO is 75. They will be aware. Some people didn't
part of
know.
The awareness creation.
Exactly, it's part of the publicity. It's part of awareness creation that we are on the street to celebrate it and to officially launch it. And at the launch, a number of surprises will be mentioned at the launch. A number of things will be disclosed to the general public what TAMASCO stands for this year. And that is the reason why the launch is very important. It's like a preparatory ground for the climax itself. So that's what the launch is going to do.
Okay.
Yes.
So to ask you to talk about maybe legacy projects by way of the old students taking up certain projects in the school, would it be an early call, or you feel even during the lunch?
Exactly. So like I said, the launch is going to open up a lot to all people who directly or indirectly are connected to TAMASCO. You mentioned a legacy project. We want, after the celebration of 75th anniversary, we should turn back and point at something and say that this particular project came up as a result of the 75th anniversary celebration of TAMASCO. And that's where we have a legacy project. So the launch would also be used to mobilize resources that are needed to put up a befitting project that everybody can be proud of. And so we are appealing to the general public, parents, corporate bodies, all students, whoever in any way want to be part of the history of TAMASCO, want to be part of the story of TAMASCO. You want to write your name as part of those who contributed to bringing up a legacy project to TAMASCO. You contribute in kind or cash, a bag of cement, a trip of sand, or whatever, even labor. We want to come up with a project and we want people to contribute meaningfully. At the launch, we'll also be unveiling the anniversary cloth. The anniversary cloth will be auctioned. So we are appealing to all our old students and all those who be part of this launch. When you are coming, prepare to come and buy the cloth. It is not just buying a piece of cloth to wear, but whatever penny you put in there, it's going into the legacy project that we are talking about. It's going into the funding of these projects. So all students prepare. There will be unveiling of the cloth, and the cloth would equally be auctioned. And when it's auctioned, we expect you to come and buy with good money.
Right, so talking about auction and yes. Funds, how is this whole, because it's a very expensive venture, expenses here and there, mobilization, how is this funded?
Yes, indeed. As big as TAMASCO is, a celebration of this nature equally will come very big, and big things really also require a lot of resources to be able to materialize. And so we are expecting everyone to get on board. Even the float that we went this morning, we want to say thank you to the people of Tamale. A lot of people have supported in a way. Even people selling by the roadside, some dash water and other things to the floaters just to keep them going. That is part of the support. And as we go forward, we are still expecting a lot of donations. Corporate bodies, organizations, we have written to some organizations in Tamale and beyond, asking for their support. We will acknowledge every penny and will put it in the right use that is donated towards this anniversary, in kind or cash. Even if we haven't reached you and you want to be part of the success story of TAMASCO, you reach to us. You can call us, you can send to us. We will reach you wherever you are to pick whatever donation you want to give to support this noble cause of education in Northern Ghana. Yes, so funding PTA, that is parents, are doing marvelously well supporting the school in every aspect.
Right.
Even our own staff are doing their own contribution. All students, of course, celebration of anniversary and speech and prizes is normally an initiative of all students. So they are coming out in their numbers, and if you are an old student, it doesn't matter the year you completed TAMASCO. And wherever you are, whether we have reached you or we haven't reached you, please also reach out and make sure that your name is properly recorded as somebody who contributed to the success of 75th anniversary. So all students, wherever you are, if you can hear us, please come out from your shells. Don't wait for anybody to come and wake you up. TAMASCO is your alma mater. It doesn't matter if you have never been involved in anything TAMASCO, this is the time for you to wake up. And that's the reason why we have even fashioned a program we call OTA Connect.
Do they have year groups where they can send their contributions?
Exactly, they have year groups where they can send their contributions to. That's why we came out with this program. We call it OTA Connect. On Friday, a day to the anniversary, that is the pre-launch Deba. We expect all old TAMASCans, irrespective of the year you completed. Those who completed 1955 down to 2025, you can look at the margin. So we have a wide range of old TAMASCans across the spectrum of Ghana and even beyond. We expect all of you to come round, patronize the OTA Connect. Let's reconnect. Let's create that connectivity.
Let me come back to you, listeners. Indulge us. We started a bit late, so we're doing a 5 minutes extension. Pardon us, and we'll bring subsequent programs through. I have been your host in the suburb, Alhamdulillah, and I've been going through this, very honorable panel that are representing TAMASCO to discuss about the 75th anniversary celebration, and they've come out with a lot of issues that are arising from this plan to celebrate. Mr. Brahma was on the spot discussing how the anniversary is being funded. So we'll wrap up in a jiffy. Kindly listen to Mr. Brahma. Please go ahead.
Yes. So this OTA Connect, we are going to have a panel of astute celebrated old TAMASCans. that will be discussing pertinent issues as to how to strengthen the ranks and files of all Tamascans and how to bring to bear the impact of all Tamascans, connecting and bringing up the young ones. Of course, they all need to pass a legacy that will need to be continued and be developed on. So that is exactly what we are creating. So we have people like Professor Abdallah Ali Nachia, we have people like Honorable Zuhaira Ibrahim, MP for Salaga South, we have people like Abdul Latif Bafo, a banker, a whole lot of them will be there. Lawyer Easy, Mahmoud Isa, Lawyer Easy will also be part of the panel. So we are going to have a range of old Tamascans, old ones, middle-aged ones, and even very young ones that will be forming a very, very interesting and educative panel. And the rest of the OTA members would have to learn from their discussions. And at the end, we are all expecting that a very good take-home will be there to help and strengthen the ranks and files of OTA and making it better to stand in a position that will help in the further development of education in TAMASCO and even beyond. Mr.
Hakim,
yes, sir.
Before we draw down the curtain, would you want to add any other issues regarding, issues arising? I know a lot of activities are running through and meetings here and there, making agent calls, yes, in a bid to make it a success. What issues do you think you can put into perspective? Any other issues regarding the students, regarding the parents, the stakeholders, so that we draw down the curtain?
Oh, yeah, thank you. But before then, the name I was looking for General Aye.
Okay, right.
The name that's given was General Aye.
Right.
Good. Rightly so. And then Mr. Brahma said that people can also reach out to us. In case you want to give out any form of support or help to make TAMASCO at 75 celebration successful, there is a phone number you can reach out to. You can call the school on 0244 782303, 0244 782303. That's Mr. Isaac Anabiri. He's a chairperson for the fundraising committee. They are in charge of funds. So this funds is not only monetary in nature, it can be both cash and what kind. Any support. We are actually TAMASCO now, as Mr. Brahma said, he didn't want to take the win out of her. He just wants people to come and see the surprise. But like he said, as part of our achievement, we are actually leading the crusade to also give female education a heads up. So we are investing a lot in girl-child education. If you look at it as the part of the theme of the anniversary, that inspiring future what generations. Currently, our student population is in excess of 6,000.
Yeah.
6,000. Meanwhile, many more have been denied access to quality education in TAMASCO due to limited infrastructure. There is a conscious effort now to expand our infrastructure to allow for many more young people to access quality education in Tamale Senior High School. If you are aware, or if you are not aware, do you know that TAMASCO has been outstanding in our WASI performance consistently, especially in the rare subject areas where many schools are struggling, in the field of English language, core maths, physics. TAMASCO WASI results in this subject area has been outstanding over the years. We, as an institution too, if you know, we are also serious with co-curricular activities. That is why even this float, if you look at the way it was organized and executed, then you know that we don't joke with anything. In the area of sports, we have given exposure to a lot of young boys and girls. Lately, you can talk of the likes of Mukarama, Ajara, what have you. In the field of them, those Milo games were champions there and there. Then if you talk of Milo, National Science and Maths Quiz,
exactly, I was coming there.
Tamale Senior High School remains the only school in the whole of Ghana that has been part of every single edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz since its establishment, its inception. We have never missed out. All the schools that have won the competition a number of times have one point in a time been kicked out and they have to go home and do their homework and come back. TAMASCO every year on have always been part of the National Science and Maths Week, and consistently we have proven to be the light of the north. Currently, that's why we said, Mr. Brahma, I want to add to him to say that we are not in competition with anybody. Currently, we want schools to join us to be able to send the northern phase higher. We are the only school in the northern sector that has been able to get to the semi-final of the National Science and Maths Quiz. We want more schools. That's why we are urging on. We'll carry our younger brothers and sisters along with us. On this note, we call on everybody, home and abroad, whatever support, however little, please put in your support, and let's have a memorable 75th anniversary launch and a wonderful celebration. Come 23rd May, Saturday next week, exactly today's week, 2026, at the Parsons Square. TAMASCO cadets are ready to give you a surprise. We are going to give you a certain performance that you have not seen before. People have been part of our celebrations. They have seen the cadet perform. This time, the launch and the main event, we are giving them entirely brand new show that would keep you wanting to see more. Thank you so much for having us.
We'll be happy to be there. So I've been speaking to Mr. Brahma and Mr. Brahma Mahama and Mr. Hakim Kapia. You know, TAMASCO's vision has not been just out of a school, but it has been a sanctuary of knowledge, a forge of character, and a beacon of hope. From humble beginnings and from modest classrooms with determined minds, it has come this age, you know, with purpose, with discipline, and striving higher and higher to prove itself a worthy, you know, institution of knowledge, a worthy institution of discipline, a worthy institution of purpose. In this edition of 75th anniversary, to prove itself as the Northern Light, it has been me, Abdul Salam Hamdawi, as sign out.
Tamale Secondary School has a wonderful opportunity to be the light of Northern Ghana.
Tamale Senior High School